Hey, what's going on, everybody? Been a little bit since my last video. I believe my last video was beginning of November, so about a month and a half-ish, maybe close to 2 months now. Um, and in that last video, I was talking about how the bull run likely continues, and so far, so good. Now I'm bringing a video to you guys, December 22nd. It's currently 11:07 p.m. EST, and this week of December has been pretty brutal, it seems, right? Even though Bitcoin's only down about 15%. Altcoins obviously higher volatility, they're down more, but the bottom line is it really isn't that surprising. And we'll get into it and why I think the bull run continues and there's not really much to be afraid about. So starting off on Bitcoin first, I'm going to go over the bearish case scenario, just get that out the way. It's quite simple. So if Bitcoin were to come down to $89,000 and lose 89K, I think there's a good chance that Bitcoin were to come down to 83 and $79,000, right? And if that were to happen, I mean, it'd still be bullish, definitely a bit more weak because from the top, that would be a 26%, 27% move, which isn't uncalled for Bitcoin, and it definitely could happen. I don't think that's the likely case, but I really wouldn't want to see that right now, just because it would really hammer the altcoins. It wouldn't go with the altcoin case that I have, um, I guess bias, so to say. It just wouldn't really make sense at this point in the cycle for Bitcoin to do that. I think it could have a 30% correction, but not yet. I think that could come later in January or sometime early Q1 of 2025, when it's at a higher price level, so the altcoins could get brought back up. So I don't think Bitcoin's going to come down to 83, 79K anytime soon, but I very well could be uh, wrong about that, and it could, and then just get grind on back up. It very well could, but the extended bearish case on that too is it gets tests at these levels, but then also loses it. So if Bitcoin were to lose $79,000, um, there's a good shot it's going back down to 68K, and if you lose 74,000, which was the previous high, right, of the highs of March 2024 earlier this year, you're getting back accepted in this range. That wouldn't be too hot because you could just get accepted back in the range, right? That's what you would be doing, or what Bitcoin would be doing, and it can go down back to 60K, right? So that's the bearish case. 80 and 79K get lost. There's a good shot that 69 and 60K could get hit if those two levels are lost. That's the bearish case. Plain and simple. Uh, is it going to play out high probability? Not in my opinion. Not at all. If you go look at history and the cycle chart, all the data there, that's likely not going to happen. And I'm not going to go over that in this video. You can do that on your own if you really care and think that's going to happen, I guess. All right, so we're going to go over the bullish case, right? What everybody wants to hear. So, what I have here is the daily chart on Bitcoin. And for anyone that doesn't know what these lines going across are, they're not random lines. These are spider lines. CryptoFace found these and they work phenomenally well. Okay? And they just work, right? Like just like how data is data, it should be taken as that. These just work. And plain and keeping it plain and simple. Just being objective. So, let's see here. I have a specific spider line here, and I had marked it off in golden because I call it the golden spider line. So this spider line became very important in end of November, just about a month ago, because as you see, we had many reactions off of this spider line. Bitcoin needs to get back above 97.4K, and this spider line level over time goes up in price, right? It's going to come up. So 97.4, 97.5, Bitcoin needs to get back above and accept over 97.4, 97.5K. If it and if it does, the next magnet level is going to be the upper spider line here, right? And that would come in around 108K right now, maybe 109 over time. And yeah, that's just the plain and simple fact about this golden spider line. Okay, and as you can see, we did lose it yesterday, right? We got a candle close underneath, and we've tested the 50% of this wick from December 20th, which currently we're finding support at, and also the spider line here at 93.9K, right? And we're also not getting daily closures underneath the December 10th and 9th lows, which is very important, okay? And that's important because uh, Eric Crown, if you guys don't know who he is, you should definitely check out his videos. He's a phenomenal analyst and just basically a quant. The average low in December, I believe it's for halving years more specifically, is December 9th. And Bitcoin did find a low on December 9th and 10th and made a new high right after that, right? It rallied to new highs after that, the coming days after. And I think it's very important for Bitcoin to hold candle closures above that low. It can get wicks. Wicks are fine, or whatever. Candle closures need to close above this low for the average December low or December monthly low to to um, you know stay valid. Okay, so as long as Bitcoin gets candle closures above that on the daily, I think all is good to continue higher. But if Bitcoin does close underneath those lows on daily closures, you're likely going to close underneath that spider line, and the next spider line would be 92,000, which would be the early December lows, December 5th. Okay. And if you're testing that, you could get to $89,000. There's more likelihood of that happening, but time will tell. Currently, finding support above the December 9th lows. Okay, getting back above 97.4.5K, I think Bitcoin has a good shot at coming back up to 100K and plus. You also have a daily fair value gap here, 102 between 100 and 5,000 on Bitcoin. That's likely going to get filled. Okay, that's how daily fair value gaps or fair value gaps in general work. Likely going to get filled. So I'll keep that as a target, 105,000. And if we're coming back up to here, sure, it could be a lower high. Doubt it though. We are in a massive macro uptrend. So it's just a little correction period currently for Bitcoin, most likely. And in time, we're going to see new highs. So that's this chart for Bitcoin, the spider line chart. Now, here's another chart for Bitcoin. We were in a rising parallel channel. It's definitely possible for this to deviate, right, and come back in. And if this were to happen and we get accepted back inside this parallel channel, what's likely to happen is we go to the opposite side and break out, right? That's usually how fail or pattern failures work. Here you go to the opposite side and tend to break out, right? So going off of this chart, I had some key dates on here, which are very interesting. I had a key date on November 25th because that was the start of a new 105-day cycle, end of an old one. And this 105-day cycle, Bitcoin has been following since the bear market lows, November 2022. And we actually got a very short-term correction here, right? It found the November lows. right around, you know, the start of the new 105-day cycle. Pretty interesting. Then I also had a date from the all-time high, or March, the previous all-time high in March. I had a key date of December 17th, and that actually got the all-time high currently, the local top, to the day at 108K. Really interesting. And we're getting a correction off of it, which is perfectly normal after what's this rally up since August? Oops. Okay. 121% just about. Um, yeah, and we're only down about, Bitcoin only went down about like almost 15%. People shitting their pants. It's funny how human psychology works. We're all subject to it. So, and to add on to that short term or bearish case, Bitcoin does have a daily fair value gap down at 85 and 81,000. Very possible for that to get filled. Um, I have a key level here at 79,000. I haven't touched really much on this chart in a long time, so I'm just going to go off. That's a very important level because I've had it there for a while. But yeah, we really don't want to see Bitcoin losing 80K. Bottom line. But this chart's more for key dates and key time periods. So we're getting into January here soon, and the apex of this current 105-day cycle comes in around mid-January. It lines up with the inauguration. I think, in my opinion, that we will rally into this time period and then have a steep correction after or into the inauguration. So I do think Bitcoin's going to hit new highs before their inauguration and correct right after. Be a type of sell the news event, something like that, right? And then likely find some lows shortly after, maybe sometime in February, and we rally into March. And Bitcoin could potentially find its top in March or late Q1, early Q2, right? Somewhere in this time period over here, March, April. I think that's what it's going to be like. So maybe a little something like this for BTC, and then a correction, rally into March. Some shit like that. Don't pay no mind with these levels. I'm not saying, oh, Bitcoin's going to 87K after January or sometime in January. Just the direction relatively. Okay. That's what Bitcoin could do. So yeah, just key dates. We got December 17th out the way now, found a local top, and now the really key important time frame is mid-January. I would exercise a lot of caution there for Bitcoin, and just see how things are shaping up then. All right, time to pay attention. Here is a Gann chart for BTC. Currently, we did break out of a 4-hour downtrend, the trend line here in red, and we've just been grinding above it, right? Still down, but grinding above it. And we're holding Gann arc support levels. Okay, so with these Gann arcs, after you break each one, you're likely going to go to the next one. Currently, we're back testing a previous Gann arc we had as resistance, flipped to support, and we're testing it as support again. And as long as we can hold above this Gann arc here, well, the next one comes in right up here, and that is towards $102,000, $103,000 for BTC. Okay, so that could be a short-term target for BTC to get back on up, and the next level after that is going to be around 104.8K, $105,000 for Bitcoin, and that goes in hand with my daily fair value gap up here. Could it just be a lower high or type of range that BTC could be in, right? A broader range. Maybe. And altcoins could rally like that, do well if Bitcoin ranges. Sure, that's definitely possible. Just take it level by level on this chart. BTC needs to continue holding this scan arc to then test the scan arc. Maybe find some short-term resistance and chop around. But if it gets accepted back over 103,000, the next scan arc is the next target, right? The likely target, $109,000, $110,000 for BTC, right? Short-term resistance, chop around, find support, whatever. It breaks above that scan arc again. The next one will come in around $116,000 for BTC, and I actually do have a level up there. It was a pennant breakout from November, 116.5K as a measured move. We haven't hit that yet. It's not invalidated because we haven't broken now that area of consolidation for BTC. So I see it as still valid in my book. Okay, so that's Bitcoin in a nutshell. It's choppy. It's in a correction because it's up 120% since August. Um, And in the short term, I mean, it's just kind of been truly up only. Still kind of technically is. I mean, it's not down that fucking bad, but people seem to be down bad. Knock on wood, right? Uh, but Bitcoin is, in my opinion, just fine. And we could have some more choppiness towards the end of this month, but I just believe it's opportunity across the board. Okay. And now with Bitcoin out the way, talking about different levels, I'm going to get into Bitcoin dominance because I'm going to hop into talking about altcoins now after this. So, Bitcoin dominance likely found the high for this cycle on November 21st at around 61.5%. At the top, almost to the T, pretty much, of the golden pocket of this overall range. It's been in between 71 and 39%. Also, key reversal zone on the monthly. That's what this red box is for. The golden pocket was also within it, and we found a major rejection. This is one of the harsher rejections on Bitcoin dominance throughout this whole time up. So something definitely changed. We're also approaching um, an end of like a, I believe, life cycle. Yeah, 185 days. Can I move this a little bit? 185. Where would 185 take us? To December 23rd, so tomorrow. um, Kind of interesting how if Bitcoin did find a lower high here, uh, you know, not too far off of 185 days, it's just so interesting to see how cycles could work and time patterns and just how it all works. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful fucking thing. But a lot of people think this is all bullshit doing TA. So pretty interesting. We're coming to the same time period last cycle when before Bitcoin fell off. Bitcoin dominance fell off a cliff and altcoin season started. Also, with more confluence on that, Bitcoin dominance could be in the 700-day cycle that I found a while back, but that just adds more confluence. It marked off on December 1st, December 2nd. Um, so all the signs are building up and are here that a major altcoin season is on the way. If, in my opinion, I think we already started it. Obviously, when Bitcoin dominance topped out, and coins like XRP and Dogecoin started pumping like crazy. All right, that was like the first session of altcoin season. I think we're still in it. We're just in a short-term correction period because nothing is just going to be green dildos for the upside every day. Okay, so getting more here in depth with the daily chart on Bitcoin dominance, I think we are in a bigger like three-wave structure to the downside. That's what this green path is for. But in the short term, with this red path, we're in a corrective phase for Bitcoin dominance to form a lower high. Currently, we did find a lower high at 59.93%, just about. And if I go to Market Cipher, we're forming a red dot. Okay, there's also a hidden bearish divergence off of this, right? A swing high on Market Cipher B, swing lows on price action. That's a hidden bearish divergence. Okay, money flow is coming out. Bearish divergence on the daily VWAP. Daily stochastic is pointed to the downside with this red dot popping up. All the signs are there that a lower high is forming on Bitcoin dominance, and the bigger wave down or correction down for Bitcoin dominance could likely be underway as we're speaking. Okay, and getting into January, I think it's more likely to see Bitcoin dominance dumping. Okay, and altcoins performing or holding up very well against their Bitcoin pairs and just also their USD pairs. Okay, so this is Bitcoin dominance. I think it's bearish, and altcoin season, what everybody's been waiting for, is already here, in my opinion, but it's going to be much more fucking obvious getting into Q1 of 2025. Okay, now I'm going to hop into Ethereum. So here I have Ethereum daily chart. So talking first about this yellow box here, it's a very specific time frame. It's not a random time frame that I have. If I go to the log chart, and I'll go to like a 2-week chart, zoom in pretty easy. So from the beginning of October, or end of October, end of October to mid to early January, Ethereum is in this yellow box, this time frame, right? The specific time frame where you could use it as an accumulation period before Ethereum historically, obviously only 2 data entries, but that's what we got to work with. Historic gains have been made for Ethereum, right? After this yellow box accumulation time period. Obviously, it's better if you accumulated before, right? But still massive opportunity. Okay, getting back to the daily time frame, we are still within this box. It's ending beginning of January here, and we're also in a massive Fibonacci support zone that goes between 3,200 and 2,700 for ETH. I also have a 50% level here of this wick from December 20th. Okay, and we're currently finding support there. Also, as well, through in this Fibonacci support area. Okay, Ethereum also has a daily fair value gap going all the way back up to 3850. So, and overall, I mean, ETH looks fine to me. I mean, just consolidation, a little corrective. It has had a big move up, and it's in support. Last time I checked, and macro uptrends, you want to buy in long support and not be bearish at support. So that's ETH. I think it's gearing up for something big, massive rally in Q1 to Q2 possibly of 2025, and we're getting very close to an end of this opportunity time period for Ethereum that's coming to an end in January. So time will tell what ETH is going to do here. But if this does break out to the upside, historically, like it's done before, and breaks to new highs, I have 51.62 as a first target, 68.96 as a second target, and 7,300 as a target. I do have a main target for a breakout of this bigger pennant it's been in at 7.8K for ETH. And I think if we do break new highs, I think 7.8K will get met sometime in later Q1, maybe early Q2 in 2025 for ETH. And if that is the case, I mean, most altcoins are going to do phenomenally well, and NFTs on ETH are going to do exceptionally well, in my opinion, as well. And they've already been coming back over the past couple of weeks too. So that's Ethereum for you. Not much bearishness. I mean, the bearish case is getting accepted back under 2,800. Right. That's the key level. We got to hold. ETH has to hold above 2,800 on higher time frame closures. You don't want to see higher time frame closures under 2,800 if it even gets to 2,800. Okay, because if you do get accepted under 2,800, well, you're going to get accepted back in this accumulation that it was in, going back down to 2,300, which is support here at a bigger parallel channel of support. But at this point in the cycle, you really don't want to see ETH hitting that. Okay. Um, that'd be very weak on ETH's part. Therefore, altcoins will be exceptionally weak, most likely, as ETH is the number two, right? Number two in market cap in crypto. So holding above 2,800 is the line in the sand, in my opinion. So far, we're good. We're at 33 and trying to bounce from a massive support area. So that's ETH out the way. I'm going to get into its little sister here, Ethereum Classic. And similar to ETH, it's in a pretty important Fibonacci zone between 2873 and 2268. Currently, we're in massive support. Also, historically speaking, for ETH Classic, we're in a similar time frame where we could see exceptional gains for Ethereum Classic, right? It goes between November to June in the first cycle, and the second cycle is from November as well, but to May of the following year post halving. Okay, so if ETH Classic's going to do anything here, I have two fractals pulled up. Short term, we're in a little correction period, but we could see phenomenal gains if Ethereum behaves and does what we all want it to do, and Bitcoin dominance does find a lower high here and starts to really get in that corrective period or wave that it could be in. Ethereum Classic could do massive gains into later Q1 2025, possibly early Q2 of 2025, going into May. Okay, I just wanted to put this on the radar. It's a simple chart. It's at support. It's inside of a range still, right? You might have a cup and handle here as well. Just looking at it real quick, I just noticed, right? Cup and handle somewhat. It's corrective. Right? That corrective handle before potentially a massive move up. An early indication that ETH Classic is on its way is breaking this trend line here, this orange trend line. Currently, it's coming in around 29 to 30. All right, that's ETH Classic. It's at major support. It's going to follow ETH pretty much. So if ETH's doing well, ETH Classic could be doing better. So one thing I wanted to say too, I have a key date on Dogecoin, December 20th. That's why I have December 20th marked off on like my ETH, or I did. I think I moved it or deleted it, but I have it on one of my Bitcoin charts here. At least I did. I did. But December 20th is a key date because it's a key date for Dogecoin. And we found the current local lows at around 26 cents and also across the board around most other coins. December 20th has been a local low so far. Could that have been the low of the correction that we've been in for the crypto market? Potentially. We'll have to see getting into the end of this month. But nonetheless, pretty interesting. December 20th. All right. So before I get into Dogecoin, I'm going to talk about Solana really quick. So for Solana, we're in a massive support zone, Fibonacci support zone as well. That goes between, 187 to 146. And I think the 50% retracement in here is down to 169. All right, so that's a pretty important level as well. And it seems that Solana has been following this fractal, right, from last year. And we could potentially be at a low or very close to the low for Solana before we start to grind, or before Solana starts to grind on up. We have a trend line of resistance here. It's coming in around 217, maybe, gets closer to 210, which is also a crucial level, which was the highs of March. Solana needs to get back above 210 and accept it back above 210. Okay, it has to, and it has to hold above 146. 146 does not hold. That's bearish as fuck, in my opinion. That I wouldn't want to see down Solana, and that could also mean that Bitcoin is losing key levels as well. Okay, but so far so good. We're at 186. That's just a bearish case for Sol. It needs to accept it back above 210. But following this fractal could be at a low or very, very close to a low. And key dates on Solana, December 30th and January 5th. Kind of funny how that with these key dates, and if Solana continues to follow this fractal, these could be key higher low areas, on the reversal before getting into Q1, early Q2 of 2025. It's price discovery mode. All right, so that's Solana, massive support zone. Not looking too shabby. Jupiter, a beta play to Sol. It's a massive support parallel channel. I made some posts about Jupiter on Twitter that the current 49-day cycle entered on December 2nd was going to be extremely bullish, and well, fuck's sake, I was wrong as hell on that. It's just consolidating inside this pennant. Jupiter, in my opinion, needs to hold above 77. We do not want to see breaks under 77 and consolidation under 77. If that's happening, that's extremely fucking weak. Something else is going on for Jupe. But so far, it's finding support here at this parallel channel that it's done many times before. And, just taking it as what it is, I would bet it continues to find support here before rallying higher. And if Solana is going to start performing well soon, just more confluence, as Jupiter is a high beta play to Sol, that it does start to bounce here as well. We're also approaching a apex, right, of this 49-day cycle that Jupiter is in around December 27th, the end of December. And it's funny how that works, because if we're going to find major lows here at the end of December, and January usually is very good for altcoins post halving years and onward into April, May. It's just funny how it works, right? Next key date is going to be January 20th, which is the end of this current 49-day cycle Jupiter is in. I do believe that by January 20th, Jupiter is going to be above $1 and possibly even above $1.32, starting to break out of this bigger pennant that it's in. That's Jupiter. Just wanted to put it on the radar. Massive support. Sorry. Massive support that it's in, and also approaching a key date or time period around December 27th, the end of this month. All right, so that is Jupe. And getting a little bit deeper into Solana as well. This is Solana versus Ethereum. So, and I'm going to go to the monthly chart first of all. I believe that Solana versus ETH has topped, meaning that from now on, for the rest of the cycle of this bull market for crypto, Ethereum is going to outperform Solana in gains. That doesn't mean Solana USD is topped. No, it's still going to do likely very well. But as far as comparing it to Ethereum, I believe it's topped. I mean, going off of this monthly candle, that's an ugly fucking monthly candle. That looks like a topping candle. And look at it back here, back in 2021 in November. This also happened in 3 years later in the same month. Kind of weird how it works. Um, I do believe that Solana versus ETH has topped, but in the short term, Solana could outperform Ethereum and find a lower high. Okay, it's at a massive support area of 0.5, a massive support zone, which was previous closure highs. Trend line of support. Going to a weekly chart, we have a fair value gap up here, all the way back up to 0.072 through 0.066 on SOL versus ETH. I think that we're going to find a weekly lower high, right, before coming back down, right? So in the short/medium term, I do think that Solana versus ETH and other Solana pairs could outperform. Right, so Solana does pretty well, but sometime in Q1 of 2025, SOL pairings are likely going to find lower highs and continue downward, and other altcoins are going to start outperforming Solana sometime in early 2025, in my opinion. And I think it just, if we get this lower high scenario, um, I think it could be a great opportunity to maximize long gains. Just something I want to talk about, put out there, right? This is Solana versus Doge. Again, it's confirmed a weekly green dot. VWAP's positive momentum is back up, stochastic as well. Um, and this chart specifically is more range bound. I think this is going to find a lower high as well, either at this 50% retracement or in this uh, weekly resistance zone that it was previous support but now resistance, before coming back down possibly to range lows for Sol versus Dogecoin. Okay, so that's all I just wanted to put out there. I think there's a good shot that whatever altcoin, that a majority of altcoins are going to outperform Solana heading into this alt season that we're possibly going into. All right. Now, getting into Dogecoin. So I have a weekly log chart pulled up here with EMAs. I'm going to go to the first cycle, or actually, right now, we have tested very close to the weekly 21 EMA. That is support. We're forming weekly higher highs and lows. The trend is up. If I go to the first cycle, when Dogecoin started its parabolic rise, right, to new highs, that trend up to new highs, Dogecoin really didn't break under that 21 EMA. And if it did, it was a sign of a bigger consolidation happening right before new highs came, in that first cycle. But then the second time it, held or just got acceptance back under that 21 weekly. No, the top was in and it went through a bear market, right? And if we are looking at last cycle, 2020, 2021, when Dogecoin started that trend up, it really didn't get candle closures underneath that 21 weekly. And when it did, the top was in. Okay. So we don't want to see Dogecoin get acceptance under 25.8 on weekly closures. Wicks are fine. Weekly closures under the 21 weekly EMA could signal a top is in or a bigger consolidation period is underway before potentially continuing the trend up to new highs. Okay, so that's just something to put out there. Now I'm going to go to my daily chart for Doge. I know I got a lot going on here. Turn off the EMAs. So just going to explain this. This blue zone here is a daily fair value gap. Currently, we have filled part of it. It's between 27.2 and 22 cents. We also have a massive Fibonacci support area that goes between 28 and 17.5 cents. Yes, Dogecoin can go down to 17.5 cents and still be bullish. Okay, if you go look back on when Dogecoin started the parabolic rise to new highs, right? That trend to new highs, it it's it's known to do 50, even 60, 70% corrections. The current high of this cycle for Doge, around 48 cents. Currently, it's corrected about 46%. A correction back down to fill this full daily fair value gap would put it at a 54% correction. If Dogecoin gets down to 17.5 cents, that would be a 63% correction. Yeah, that would suck and be scary, sure. But as long as these levels are holding, Dogecoin is still bullish as hell, and likely still in the trend to new highs. Okay, but as of right now, we're at 31 cents and potentially trying to form daily higher lows above the key date, the key low, December 20th, around 26 cents for Dogecoin. The next key date I have is December 30th. And I have 3 key dates in January. I have them marked off as yellow to be signs of caution. And why is because Dogecoin and and 2 of its previous cycles, I believe it has um, put in its cycle highs in January. So January can just have a significant vibration, so to say, for Dogecoin. So that's why I have yellow as caution. If Dogecoin is pushing massively in January to new highs, $1 plus, I would exercise, not financial advice, but potentially taking profits. Maybe not all profits, but some profits at least. Take some money off the table as maybe another 50%, 70, 60% correction comes in. And if it doesn't go higher, that's just a correction before that trend continues up. Or it could be a cycle high. So just something to watch there. Okay. But Dogecoin is doing what it's done in previous cycles, having a massive correction after a massive rally up from August lows. It's in support, and everybody should be bullish at support. Okay, accepting back above 34 cents would be a very good sign. 44 cents could come again, and potentially higher. But the next key date is December 30th. We might find continuation of the uptrend on December 30th and heading into January. Time will tell with that. And I make frequent updates on my X account for everything too. So if you want to go follow, check it out. TSG0X on there as well. Okay, so this is Dogecoin. Still overall very bullish. Going to the Dogecoin chart, this green box I have here is a weekly fair value gap. Okay, I can show it really quick. See, big old liquidity here in this candle. Weekly fair value gap. I do expect this to hold, and for Doge versus Bitcoin to continue on up, we're trying to find, or Dogecoin versus BTC is currently trying to find a weekly higher low that could shape up before higher levels come, likely in Q1 of 2025. Okay, so that's just Doge versus BTC, short-term correction, and a potentially bigger move up, or maybe up here. All right, that's Doge versus BTC. Quick, easy, and simple. If I go to a weekly chart, I think breaking underneath this fair value gap on weekly closures is going to be pretty bearish for Doge versus BTC, meaning that Bitcoin could outperform Dogecoin. Dogecoin could still go up on its USD pair, but could be outperformed by Bitcoin. All right, that's Doge versus BTC. Here's the others chart. I haven't talked about this in a while. It's a cycle chart. Here's the monthly. It's in I believe it's a 609-day cycle. We're in the apex of the yellow time period, the seasonality period, currently, and I do expect this apex that we're now in orange within the yellow to be extremely bullish. Obviously, short term here, we're finding a short term correction, in my opinion, before continuation upward. But historically speaking, this yellow box tends to be very good for others' dominance, okay, heading into this apex and afterwards as well. And then at the end of the year, this coming year, 2025, we're likely going to have a massive correction, okay, into the end of the year. Just going off of this time period, uh, cycle chart. But just wanted to quick update. Nothing crazy going on here. Just the volatility. I mean, I'll go to the daily chart. This looks like a three-wave corrective move down off of major support reaction rally off of support, right? So a corrective wave down before, highly likely continuation upwards. And I'm curious what the weekly looks like. Yeah, it could just be finding weekly higher lows above the October lows on others' dominance. So looks fine to me. And I think I'm going to end it there, guys. So overall, stuff is still very bullish in my opinion, especially for altcoins heading into January is very key. We could see some massive breakouts across the board on altcoins in January. I wouldn't be shocked. We're not that far away. This short-term correction that we're in currently, I would not be surprised if 20, 30, 40 days from now, people completely forget this ever happened, and we're going to see um, everybody jizzing their pants all happy, just like they were a week ago, right? So, with that being said, guys, peace out. Thank you. Check out my X account if you like, and have a good night. And yeah, Bears are probably still fucked. So, peace.